Welcome to my channel and welcome to the coloring in Mythographic Wanderlust. Well, recently, unfortunately, I have some kind of coloring block, so I decided that this quite unusual coloring book could help me to color something different and not to concentrate a lot on the final look of it. I decided to take Wanderlust because for me, indeed, it's kind of personal challenge. This book is extremely detailed, even comparing with other detailed books in this series, created by Bank and by Fabiana Attanasio. Works by Alessandra Fusi are really very detailed, and each one for me looks more like puzzle rather than coloring. So you need to look very closely at each of the pictures to decide where you will have your main objects, which are secondary elements, and it's also one of the oldest books where you still have those ugly hidden objects. So I decided to color in Wanderlust, and for a long time I wanted to color this Luna Park gates. I immediately imagined it with a dark background, where we have the brightest elements, those flying beetles, then a rusty but still shining Luna Park on the background, and a lot of tulips, which I plan to do with white and red colors. But when I started to color it, I think that the whole first period of coloring I spent not thinking about colors, I rather was masking excessive details. Because apart from hidden objects, there are other elements which for me simply distracted attention from the main areas. Those gates in front of Luna Park or parts of the rides which we can see behind the Ferris wheel, for me they were too much, too distracting. We can see only parts of them. Sometimes they are not symmetrical and they are messing up with the lines of Ferris wheel. So first I tried to keep them and to color them with gray alcohol markers together with black background, but in the end, when I did Ferris wheel, I started to realize that actually I wanted to darken those gates and rides more and more. So in the end I did them in a very dark gray marker, so they would be almost invisible, and I hope that they won't distract attention on the final picture from Luna Park, from Clown, from Beatles, and from Tulips. So definitely books by Alessandra Fusi in this series, they are probably not for beginners. I would say that these chaotic lines, they are a little bit similar to what we can see in artificial intelligence pictures, where some of the lines start from nowhere and ends nowhere. That's definitely not artificial intelligence, but probably it was made like digital collage, where some parts were drawn digitally and then added to the picture. So that's why we have so many lines. Those tulips on the bottom part, they are already very detailed, and we have many of them, both flowers and leaves. So when you have behind also some vertical lines, which are probably parts of the gates, it's really very confusing. So that's why it was very helpful that on the first step I simply covered background with black. It helped me to better see my main objects, flowers, gates, clown and Ferris wheel, but still I would delete some parts. I think that those lotus flowers on Ferris wheel, they are maybe also excessive, and they are so small that it's really not very easy to color their petals in normal way to show the shape of the lotus flower. But I hope that somehow with some hard pencils like polychromos I will manage to color them, and the rest of excessive elements I tried to mask. a couple of very ugly hidden objects were on towers, and I wanted towers to be in very light cream color, so I had to use acrylic marker to mask those ugly objects, and they were totally didn't matching the style of the page, like like uh, preambulator for babies. Definitely not what you want to keep here. So I used my Arctic markers. They are acrylic, they have brush tip, so I suppose that they could be helpful, but unfortunately their light colors, both white and cream, they are not 100% opaque, they are slightly transparent, so shapes of those hidden objects still were visible, and I had to cover them also with additional layer of pencils, so actually it was a mess. Black alcohol marker helped me to mask the rest of the hidden objects on the background. That was good. Well, I hope that even if this first part probably isn't very interesting to look at, to watch here on video, but at least it helped me to mask what I don't like on this page. So now I can concentrate on what I do love, what I like, why I selected this picture. I hope that tulips will be interesting to color, even if probably again there are too many of them here, but I would love to do something in a slightly macabre style with that dark background with this clown and old Luna Park, and to work on the contrast between those beetles, which I think that they will have emerald green backs and white blue wings, and those tulips. So I don't despair on this page. I hope that even if coloring is slightly challenging, I will manage to color it. As I said, because it's not my favorite in Mythographic series, somehow for me it's easy to color it when I don't expect a lot from it. And also it's a book which is very rarely colored, so I hadn't colored it with my eyes, seeing results by other colorists, so it also doesn't press on me when I don't have this idea that maybe I can copy someone's work. And actually it's lovely, but slightly excessive amount of details. It could be challenging and could frighten colorists when you first look at these pictures. Another good moment here was that I discovered that Derwent color softs work quite well on this paper. You probably know that Derwent color softs are quite demanding to paper quality, but here I was quite happy how they covered paper. Maybe not how they blended, but at least how they covered paper. And I definitely intend to use them more frequently in the future, because that's one of the sets which I own, but I don't use quite often because of the paper, but here paper seems okay for them. I selected them because I simply love their rate of terracotta, ginger, pimento colors, perfect when you want to do tiles, roofs in this terracotta color. And I also added a couple of Derwent drawings because they have a very creamy texture, so I hoped that Derwent drawing with will help me to mask those hidden objects on the light background. So that was probably not very exciting but necessary first step of this coloring, and I hope that part number 2, maybe part number 3, will be a little bit more interesting to watch. Anyway, I am glad that I do at least something in Mythographic series, because they publish books with much bigger speed comparing to speed which I have in coloring their books, and I love all their books. I want to collect all of them, so somehow I need to justify purchasing new books, and I can't do it if I have such a huge pile of untouched books. So please wish me luck, and I hope that it won't be my last picture in this book, because even if they are very challenging, I do love this solving puzzles style of coloring, when you can keep some of the details and part of the details you can simply cover if you don't like them. Anyway, thank you, and I hope that you will like this video. you.